The offseason has been quite hectic. However, the Sixers remain stagnant. But if Daryl Morey is still star hunting, could a guy in Chicago be the one he finally lands on? We'll break it all down here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. Like always, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Be sure to subscribe, and as always, ring that bell down below. That way you don't miss any of the coverage. Today we are back and talking about more trade possibilities. The Sixers have at least had preliminary discussion surrounding a certain star in Chicago. I've been on the Chicago wave all off season, wondering what are they doing, trying to figure it out, trying to propose certain ideas. They've been really back and forth, but if a certain star wants out, could the Sixers finally land their hands on one? I want to know from you down below in the comment section. Could a Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan trade put the Sixers over the top? Say Maxey, LaVine, Joel Embiid as a core. What do you think about that? Let me know down below. And stay tuned for later because I actually put together a couple trade proposals using the trade machine that I think might intrigue you. So we'll break it all down. But before we jump into it, shout out to our sponsor of today's video, Mantis Sleep. You guys got to check out the Mantis Sleep Mask Pro. If you're an insomniac like me, this product right here will change your life. It has true 100% blackout for deep sleep, C-shaped eye cups for unbeatable side sleep comfort, and puts zero pressure on the eyelids and eyelashes. You can put this thing on, very lightweight, very breathable product, right over your head before you sleep. And you can lay on your back, your side, your stomach. It doesn't matter. This thing will help you block out all the distractions, the light peeking in from the window, the phone notifications going off, the TV, whatever it may be. This thing will help take your sleep to the next level. It has advanced materials built right in for great ventilation and unmatched breathability. They have a ton of great products. And again, if you don't want to be up all night thinking about these Sixer trade scenarios and rumors and wondering what the actual plan is, this product is for you. So go down to the description right now, go to mantisleep.com, click the link, and use promo code PhillyTake to get 10% off of your order. All right, let's jump into it, man. Let's start off with a little video in terms of why I think this could be an interesting thing, right? So, you know, here are the Chicago Bulls at Summer League. There's DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. These are the two guys in question. Here they are, front and center. Could the Sixers potentially land a Zach LaVine via trade? You know, I've talked about this, like I said, for weeks now. I don't know about DeMar DeRozan. It seems to me that based on the discussions that have been had, he wants to stay in Chicago. I know he's going into the last year of a deal. You never know what's going to happen, but they might retool, right? However, Zach LaVine has been involved in numerous trade discussions, and we're going to get into why I think this could be a perfect fit and how it could happen. By the way, here's a quick clip of Zach LaVine crushing a home run in the celebrity softball game. Look at that swing, man. And the bat flip, too. Oh, yeah, bring him to Philly. Put him in the pinstripes. You know how it's going, man. Shout out to Zach LaVine. And yeah, man, it would be interesting. But here is the article that was put out a couple days ago. And here's really the main tagline, according to KC Johnson, who writes for NBC Chicago. And he put out an article saying that Zach LaVine has, quote, landed in preliminary conversations with both the Philadelphia 76ers and the Portland Trail Blazers, according to NBCS Chicago. However, and we'll look at the article a little more, it says the report states that neither of the conversations gained any traction. However, it is interesting that they, had been inquired about, right? That's how you start these things. And, Daryl Morey is one of those GMs who always is star hunting. He always goes fishing and tries to put his name in the bid. So it is intriguing that they have at least inquired or at least talked about this. Right now, again, we are at the point where really the Sixers fan base is frustrated, right? And right now we're actually waiting because there's about 11 hours left until Paul Reed is either re-signed or let go. And we talked about that on yesterday's video, but it seems like Paul Reed is going to walk in free agency. So he's essentially been replaced with Mo Bamba. Then you bring back Trez, Pat Bev. That's not enough, right? The Sixers team was very close and, they really haven't improved any margins at all. And it seems like if James Harden is traded or Tobias Harris or whatever, Daryl Morey wants to get a star in return. He's ready to sit on his hands and stand his ground until he gets what he wants. Now, all offseason, I've been talking about the Bulls, right? They re-signed Vucevic. Lonzo Ball may never play again. They applied for the disabled player exception. They don't expect Lonzo to play, and who knows if he's ever going to get on the court again. It's a very sad story. And then in free agency, they go out, they sign Javon Carter for $40 million, and they bring back Kobe White. So where does that leave a guy like Alex Caruso? Well, it means he might be expendable, and we'll get into him later on. But Zach LaVine has been involved in a lot of trade discussions, and I want to pull up the article because it gives more context on where they are at. A lot of people do not think Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan will finish off together in Chicago based on LaVine's contract. He's got 3 more years and then a player option for a 4th year. He's 28 years old. He's in his prime, and he, can shoot it from a 40% clip from deep. He's a better defender than people give him credit for, right? Some nights he just explodes. He's got great athleticism. He could probably play on or off the ball. I think out of everybody that's left, there's not a lot of options left. Seems like the Sixers maybe, guiding towards 2024, like I talked about in yesterday's video, to try to get more cap flexibility and really cash in next year, let a lot of these guys expire. But if they want to compete this year, Nick Nurse comes in and says, we need to compete now, and there's pressure to go get a star. I think this guy right here is the best option. I've said it all off season based on what the Bulls want to do. They have really the ball in their court. But looking at this article here from Casey Johnson, it says, speaking late last month after the draft, a night whose lead up had featured Zach LaVine landing in multiple trade rumors, the Bulls was asked to articulate LaVine's standing within the organization. And he says, I think we were all disappointed with the way the season ended. And Zach was one of the guys who was very disappointed with the way that it ended. The LaVine trade chatter is not going away. League sources said the LaVine has landed in preliminary conversations with the Sixers and Blazers. I don't think the Blazers would go out and get LaVine to try to repair the Dame thing. I don't think it makes much sense. And that kind of leaves the Sixers, right? And we'll get to our trades here in just a minute or two. But there has been a lot of questions about whether LaVine will finish his 5-year contract. They talk about the Blazers and the Sixers. But listen to this here. This kind of provides more context, right? It says it's also fair to wonder how all this speculation will register with LaVine, who seemingly has always faced an uphill climb to full acceptance from the Bulls and some of the fan base, right? He's had injuries, and he's had a lot of disagreement with Billy Donovan, right? I remember that one game where I think he wanted to be in or had the last shot or something like that, and Billy Donovan benched him, and it just has not gone over well with Zach LaVine and the Bulls at times. So they've, very much been heartwarming to DeMar DeRozan, but as it, pertains to LaVine, it has not been all pretty and perfect. It says, while LaVine respects Donovan, he has had multiple meetings over the past 2 years about his role and usage. So obviously you don't want a disgruntled superstar, but I do think part of the way he is used, hinders some of his production. I think with the Sixers, it almost seems like the perfect role, right? You get kind of a wing that can play on or off the ball, can complement Maxey, can take over some of the ball duties. Obviously not as good of a facilitator as James Harden, but just a very skilled athlete. You would have to hope that he can stay healthy. But if he does, I think this could provide some of that burst that the Sixers lineup really needs. And I've always been a believer in his game. Now, sometimes he does go awry and he kind of just, looks absent on certain nights. But overall, I think the role with the Sixers would always keep him engaged and locked in. And it would be excited to see how it would come. So, yeah, there's definitely been a lot of chatter with the Bulls. Nobody really knows what their plan is. I don't think they can get past where they are now. I think they've hit their peak with their roster. Some of it's their fault. Some of it is not, like the Lonzo Ball. But they need to essentially move on from one of these contracts. They might end up trading DeRozan this year. Who knows if they can get assets. But I put together a couple trades, and I think these would make sense. I think a LaVine trade would probably have to involve 3 or 4 teams. But let's say it was a one-on-one trade. This is what I put together, and I proposed these when I was on Bleacher Report last week. Let me know what you think about this. Zach LaVine and a second-round pick to the Sixers, essentially a pick swap in 29. And the Chicago Bulls would get James Harden, who would provide just kind of a different dynamic next to DeMar DeRozan, especially with Lonzo Ball. Right? They're losing that playmaking. They bring one of the best facilitators in the league this past year in to play alongside DeRozan with James Harden. They also upgrade their defense, which seems to be one of the main strategies of the Chicago Bulls, right? They're adding some of these lengthy wings, and they bring in Jaden Springer, who is a nice, young, promising prospect, especially on the defensive end, and they get a second-round pick in 2024. Then if it doesn't work, right, the Bulls can get off Harden's contract, right? 1 year and he expires. They can get off DeRozan, and they can have a lot of cap space. I think this does make sense for both teams. But let's talk about a bigger trade And obviously this is a massive one. A lot would have to work out. Might be hard to see, but this only says failed too because Jaime Jaquez is a rookie who was drafted in the last 30 days. So we would technically have to wait. But other than that, this would work out. This trade I put together has Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso. This would be my dream scenario, by the way. Zach LaVine and Caruso to the Sixers. I think both of those players would definitely help fill some of the margins that the Sixers need. They get the second round pick. The Bulls get Harden. They get DeAnthony Melton and a future second round pick in 2026. And then the Miami Heat get what they have coveted all along in Damian Lillard. He can stop complaining and saying that he's going to sit out of training camp. He ends up in Miami, and the Sixers get off Furkan's contract as well. Because as Brian Toporek reported, at least in the last couple of days, right? Essentially, he's expendable. They want to get off his contract as well. And then the Blazers get what they want in future assets. They get two nice, young, promising prospects, first-round picks in Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic, who have had a decent summer league so far. They get Tyler Hero, which may eventually be moved or roped into another team as well. Kyle Lowry could be waived or cut, but I threw him in this trade to make it work financially. And then they get two future first-round picks, and these are via the Miami Heat. So this is a 4-team trade. I think it checks a lot of boxes. Obviously, it would be hard to put together a trade like this that makes sense for everybody, but maybe this is a huge mega trade that happens. It seems like the Dame and James Harden trade fronts are really what's prevalent at the league right now, right? There's not much else going on. Free agency is almost dried up, and it's really going to come down to these two star trades. And it seems like Daryl Morey is not content with trading James Harden for nothing. It seems like he wants to compete and essentially create as much flexibility for next year. But if you think that Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso could get this team above the hump this year, maybe you bring them in, you compete, and you try to push it all in. Give me your thoughts, though, down below. I think Zach LaVine would honestly be great on the Sixers, but don't know if they're willing to do it financially. Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.